The SEC Ripple case is over, according to Brad Garlinghouse. Will there be XRP price action? Well, we'll talk about it. Stablecoins, big time changes with active wallets. Recession fears Jerome Powell. And
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
yes, you heard me correctly. Brad Garlinghouse says it's over, and I don't think my guy would lie about something like that. But before we get into the news, you know the deal. Your comments come first. Hot, spicy, naughty, relevant. Maybe I'll share it where, everyone, at the beginning of the next video. Fabulosari says, I do believe that after the SEC lawsuit is dismissed, we'll have a good pump. Well, guess what? We'll find that out today, won't we? If the market finds a way up, step by step is the way, I guess. We have a saying in Albania. Shout out to you from Albania. The hungry always eats last. Ooh, like this saying. Cat Atomic says, until crypto coins and tokens are defined or hold equivalent value like shares of a company on the stock market, only then will they become valuable. Fuck the speculative shit. Yeah, by the way, shareholders of companies with stocks, right? You have voting rights. With crypto, you simply don't have any rights. Genesis and Health channel member, thank you for the support, says, will be a big air burger, like a nothing burger, but of air, just all the rest. Even the JFK files, agreed. What about the Epstein files? Everywhere there is massive good news, but in the reality, it's nothing more than clickbait and hopium. A few exceptions, like Klaus aside. No melting faces. Well, we're going to see if faces are going to melt today because Brad Garlinghouse says it's over. Hence XRP, double-digit gains right now at 10%. Let's get into it. Bitcoin sitting at 82,995. ETH is 2,010. XRP up double digits to 248. While XLM is riding the coattails, 29.1. Sol at 128.8 at 72. And BNB at 606. Active stablecoin wallets surge 50% in a year. A joint report by Artemis and Dune revealed a big surge in stablecoins, with active wallets growing 53% in the year. The total stablecoin supply also saw a 63% year-on-year gain, and transfer volume skyrocketed, hitting 4.1 trillion. Now, you want to read that whole report? Well, maybe you do. It's linked to everyone in the description below. 25 pages long of juicy trends, data, stats, things that I know you all love. Now, Jerome Powell is going on the mic today, and we hope he doesn't pee in our Cheerios, because recession fears are mounting as Jerome Powell is worried about a few things. He's worried about inflation. He's worried about the job market. He's worried about a bunch of stuff. The Fed has a knack for turning hawkish just as the economy shifts in a way that eventually drives more dovish monetary policy path. And in fact, we see Jerome Powell's been a laggard. He was late to raising rates, and he was late to cutting rates. By the way, his rate decision is happening at 2 p.m. today. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out, because we're going to be live streaming at 2 p.m. And at 2:30 p.m. he goes on the mic, and I jump in the chat. I'm sharing this because there's a statement in here that I want to read you that sums it up perfectly. The Fed is like an oil tanker that takes a long time turning. It's hard for the Fed to pivot, as concerns about economic outlook are very recent. Only a month ago, the Fed was downplaying signs about economic activity because the stock market wasn't concerned about it. But guess what? The stock market has pulled back, the crypto market has pulled back, and gold and the safe stuff have been roaring. Along with what? Along with stable coins. Ripple CEO confirms the SEC will drop an XRP lawsuit appeal against the firm. Are you ready for it? Stuart Alderati says this: today, Ripple moves forward stronger than ever. This landmark case set a precedent for the domestic crypto industry. With the SEC dropping its appeal, Ripple is now in the driver's seat and will be able to evaluate and best pursue our cross appeal. Regardless, today is a day to celebrate this victory. You want to hear what Brad Garlinghouse said? Sure you do. It's linked down below.
As many of you know, just over 4 years ago, the United States SEC filed its lawsuit against Ripple. I'm finally able to announce that this case has ended. It's over. Sitting here today and reflecting on 4 years ago, it seems very clear to me that this case was doomed from the start. In so many ways, it was the first major shot fired in the war on crypto. I truly felt like I knew then that Ripple was not only on the right side of the law, but I felt that we were also going to be proven to be on the right side of history.
Ooh, juicy stuff coming from the Bradmeister. And we're seeing XRP pump on this news. Now, here's the deal. How big will the pump be? Will the pump hold? And will Jerome Powell later today pee in our pump Cheerios? I mean, let's be real here. Jerome Powell has been very stingy, and he hasn't been the nicest guy on the mic. We're going to take a broader look at crypto first, and then we're going to zoom into XRP talk. Volume still sucks. This is one of my big fears. If volume is down, it means the interest is down as well. We're kind of getting back to levels where we were before the November election pumperoni time, and that's capital P, everyone. Right now, sitting at 23 in the fear and greed index, meaning we got a lot of fear in the market. 20 out of 100, so it's BTC dominance. XRP, well, let's zoom in, because right now we're sitting at 247, and boom, you can see the movement right there, but pumperoni, dumperoni, volume is starting to roar, up 46% in the last 24 hours to 5.1 billion. Let's take a look at those candlesticks and see what's going on. We're going to do it a little differently today. We're going to go to the 5 minute because I want to see how long this move held. Started off right here at 232, and with 15 minutes, we were able to shoot up to a high of 258, and we're pulling back already. Now, the move is still early. This news is only about 30 minutes old from the time of recording. Yeah, that's why you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on juicy news. And we're starting to see the XRP holders decide if this is really bullish, super bullish, a nothing burger, or a lowercase p and lowercase d. Plan on giving my wife the D later. Yeah. Happy post St. Patrick's Day. We call it Klaus's Day. Better known as Wednesday. Hump Day, biznatches. But either way, looking at the action right now, obviously the market is excited about it. I would have liked to have seen, though, that initial move pump up a bit higher than 258. And in fact, you can see two candlesticks in a row rejected right at that 258.99, 259 level. Now let's zoom out to that 15-minute candlestick so you can see it compared to other moves, like the strategic reserve move. Look how much bigger the strategic reserve announcement got us compared to this. And with the strategic reserve announcement news, look how fast that happened. We're going to zoom into that well so you can see it. See, I'm telling you, I bring you the juice all throughout the video. Remember, these are 15-minute candlesticks. 15, 30, 45, an hour, hour 15. An hour 30 is what it took for us to peak on the announcement from Trump in Truth Social in regards to the strategic reserve. So right now we're at about a half hour on this move. So we're still early, so we need to see how it plays out. I just wish that we got the news on a day different than Jerome Powell and the Fed. Because the reality is Jerome Powell has not been kind to the risk markets, and crypto is one of those risk markets. Let's zoom back in, though, to that 5 minute and see if anything has changed. Because like I said, it's the volume that's key, and if the volume starts eroding back down, that's the sign that most players aren't into it. And we need to see if we can push through this. Yeah, if 260 is all we get on the announcement of the case being over, is that a nothing burger, or is that another case of buy the rumor, sell the news, and the moment the news hit, players pump it a little bit, and then they dump it on the way back down. But the move is early, and as this price move happens during today, I'm going to bring you updates so you can make sure that you are well informed. All right, so juicy announcement from Brad. We saw some price reflection of the juicy news, but we saw right away that the market was like, yo, 259's the peak. We're pushing it on the way back down. By the way, at the end of this outro, I'm going to have the rest of the Brad Garlinghouse up there linked so that you can watch it and listen to it and don't have to worry about searching for it on the old interweb. But for real, if this is all we get, big letdown. I mean, we all knew that the case was going to be over, but we were hoping for some pumperoni action. That's why I shared your comments in the beginning. One of them specifically saying, hey, look, hopefully we get a good pump out of the Brad thing. And I agree. Hopefully we do get a pump, and hopefully the pump lasts. We saw with the strategic reserve announcement that we pumped and then just went all the way on back down. And it would be a shame if the same thing happened today. So, choo-choo bitches, and here's the rest of the Garlinghouse announcement.
It really, I think, sends an ominous sign for innovation around cryptocurrency in the United States. Picking winners in general has not been something the U.S. government should be in the business of doing. I think the judge realizes this is not just about Ripple. This will have broader implications. As Mary Jo White, the former head of the SEC, has said publicly that she views this as a dead wrong, and the SEC is dead wrong on this decision. Ripple is the first company with the resources, determination, and grit to fight back against the agency's overreach. And today, this journey finally concludes. Today is a victory and a long overdue surrender by the SEC. The SEC, under Chairman Gary Gensler, went after the whole industry, using the same arguments they used against us. They weren't out to protect investors. They were out to intimidate and terrorize. The regulator, whose primary purpose is to protect investors, went all in on a non-fraud, victimless lawsuit and wiped out $15 billion of value from innocent XRP holders. The SEC was the market manipulator. The SEC wasn't seeking justice. They were seeking to win a case at any cost. Forces inside our government aligned with the SEC and embarked on a campaign of debanking anyone associated with the crypto industry. This was lawfare, a war of legal terror. Fortunately, the judge rebuked the SEC multiple times in this journey. First, for lacking a, quote, faithful allegiance to the law. The SEC was sanctioned in our case for discovery abuses, and the pattern was repeated in other crypto cases.
Well, let's just say they're trying to confuse you.
We won then on every critical legal point, proving that the digital asset XRP is not a security. That is now the law, and those wins have laid the groundwork for policymakers to adopt a set of rules for crypto that are in line with nearly a century of securities law. With today's news, the war on crypto has ended in defeat for those who turned our own government against a technology and an entire industry. I'm heartened that we have paved the way for other industry players to see the value in not backing down, and for others to use our legal playbook to fight back. We are now closing a chapter in crypto history. I think we are all stronger for our prior litigation successes and today's landmark victory. Progress is worth fighting for. We won multiple pro-crypto victories at the ballot box last year. It's time to make the US the crypto capital of the world. Thankfully, we have new leadership in executive and legislative branches of our government. That leadership is actively seeking a rational and constructive way forward on crypto. Let's make the most of this. This is an incredibly promising moment. Let's come together. Let's leave the tribalism behind. Let me make it clearer that my main message, what Ripple's main message today, is about gratitude. It's gratitude to everyone who stood by us, to every Ripple employee, to the incredible legal team here at Ripple, led by the best chief legal officer in the business, Stu Alderodi. Gratitude certainly to the XRP family, to our customers, to our partners. Thank you. We couldn't have won this battle without all of you being behind us and working together. I truly believe we all agree there's immense opportunity with the largest economy in the world finally taking a pro-crypto and pro-innovation approach to build this technology in order to solve real-world problems for people around the planet. This was a fight Ripple never wanted, but one we knew we had to win. And today, emphatically, we have. Thank you.